Michigan Replay with Bo Schembechler and Jim Brandstatter is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Why go out for pizza when there's Domino's Pizza? Nobody delivers better. By General Tire. Get on your General and go. By Buick and your Buick dealer. The Great American Road belongs to Buick. By the financial professionals at Payne Weber. And by Unisys. Better information, better decisions.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Michigan Replay. Well, after 2 tough weeks, this week turns out to be a little bit better. Michigan's Wolverines defeat Wake Forest 19-9, although it could have been better. You'd like to have a bigger win, wouldn't you?
Well, yes, I would have to say I'd like to, have done it a little better. But, when you haven't won, Jim, just to win is luxury. Let's give some credit to Wake Forest. I think they're a better team than perhaps the name indicates. Some people look at Wake Forest and think they're not very good. But we played spotty football. We weren't nearly as emotional as we have been the last 2 weeks. And frankly, I anticipated that. We had 2 disheartening defeats, as you know, and it takes something out of you. And then this team comes in, and really, I don't think we're ready to play the way we ought to play. But there were enough good things there for us to win, so let's take it and not complain too much.
And that was important, enough good things. And one of the good things was the fact that you got some turnovers.
We got some turnovers. We got a couple of interceptions. One here by Trip Wellborn early in the game was a key play because at this time it's 0-0, and they were moving on us a little bit, and we were able to stop them.
Tony Bull's really establishing himself as one of your real tough running backs.
As you can see on this very first play, he picks his holes beautifully. That was a counter play, and we pulled the guard and tackle, and he did a great job of following it. Here's a pass from Michael Taylor to Chris Callaway, and on an early down. I don't think Mike quite had the day he had a week ago, but it was good enough for us to win. We missed a field goal here. Mike missed his first 2 field goals again, and I'd like to say right from the beginning, Jim, I think maybe that's our fault rather than his. We had to have a punter, and he's the best guy we got to do it, and he's doing all of our kicking. Maybe it's too much. So we'll have to reevaluate that, but he has to be our punter because he's by far the best punter we have. I thought Elkins did a great job here, Jim, throwing the football and moving his team. He got down here on a 3rd and 3. They came up a yard short of the first down. Had to go for the field goal and kicked it, and they took the lead 3-0 because by this time we had missed 2 field goals on drives that had taken us down in there.
Well, at this point, you got to feel unhappy with your football team, but you
Jim,
still are not out of it.
always are unhappy when you're behind. This is an unbalanced line formation that we went into against their defense and ran this play 3 times in a row. You just saw the first one for a good gain. We come right back and run it again. Tony finds a hole in here and breaks it to the outside, picks up good yardage again. I think that little gimmick of going unbalanced in there and running Bulls to the strong side helped us.
Do you think maybe, too, that the fact that they had taken the lead maybe woke the offense up a little bit?
Well, it did on this drive. We came right back strong and went after them. Here's a tackle trap play, and Tony shakes a few guys in there and comes through and scores. So we took the football, Jim, after being down 3-0, marched right down, scored.
And that had to be encouraging for you at that point because your team responded, even though they were down a little emotionally.
They responded and did a good job. Here's Trip Wellborn with another interception. And Trip's from North Carolina, and so I'm sure he'll get some decent write-ups back here about the guy that went to Michigan that hurt Wake Forest. Mike goes back, gets Chris Callaway again here. This is just before the half. We're running against the clock here. 2 big plays, 2 draw plays. This one broke out to the fullback and was a good play for us because we picked up 12, 13 yards, got us a first down. Now we come right back, go back to Bowles again on the draw, finds an opening, and uses his speed here. You can see him stride out, and he goes in for the touchdown. Now we hit very quickly there. And that was an excellent drive just before the half.
At halftime, it's 14-3, and as you said, you anticipated that the kids probably wouldn't have the great emotion. Did you get out of the first half what you wanted?
Well, going in 11 points ahead at halftime, I was not satisfied. Felt if we went back out and played good football that we would you know, seize control early and dominate. However, it didn't work out that way, partly because, you know, we failed on short yardage and goal line situations to convert, particularly third and short. We were very poor. We were poor inside the 10-yard line on the goal line and had to settle for a field goal. We got a safety and a field goal. That's all we got second half.
Well, it wasn't pretty. It certainly was the way Michigan wanted it to turn out, a victory. Don't go away. We'll be back with the second half highlights when Michigan Replay continues.
Well, our defense was holding. You know, we were bending a little, but we weren't breaking. And I was just lucky enough to be in the right place at the right time. And coaches say good things come to those in the right place. And I was just happy to make the play. Hey, it's all right. You know, there's a couple of extra bumps and bruises that I'm not used to, like over at offense. But I think anything with the win, you know, it doesn't matter to me. Just as long as I'm out there playing and doing something for the other guys, because I know how hard they work.
Would my phone help?
Yeah.
I don't think he's coming. I don't think he's coming.
The General XP 2000 High Performance Series goes all the way to the edge.
In keeping with the special spirit of the U.S. Olympic team, Buick presents 3 special Regal Olympic Coupes. 3 distinctive personalities, from sporty to luxury. There's nothing more regal on the great American road. Red, white, and Buick. Now at your Buick dealer for a limited time.
A message from Payne Webber, one of America's leading full-service investment firms. What about CDs in today's market? Are they a good idea? We're talking with Joe Grano, president of retail sales and marketing at Payne Webber. Joe.
We believe that in today's market, CDs are a very appropriate investment, and so much so that we're offering an exciting rebate program.
In terms of dollars, what does this rebate mean to the consumer?
For a typical investment of a 3-year CD of $20,000, the customer would receive $150 in addition to their competitive yield. We also have separate rebate programs for shorter maturities, such as 3 months.
Joe, why are you doing this?
We're doing it because, one, it's in the customer's best interest. Secondly, we are encouraging our customers to sit down with us and understand that even savings are an investment, and all CDs are not created equal.
And are these CDs insured?
All CDs are insured, yes.
How can the investor get more details?
By simply calling a Payne Webber investment executive.
Thank you, Joe. And goodbye for now from Payne Webber.
Just offensive line was sustaining on their blocks, and we kind of changed things around. You know, got a little offense, a little different strategy towards this defense. And our offensive line did the job. Now we just have to put things together a little bit more, because as Bo had this little meeting a few minutes ago, he said we kind of went through the motion a little bit. I think we did kind of go through the motion. We didn't have the enthusiasm to win this game, maybe because it was Wake Forest, but we got to come out looking good against Wisconsin, or they'll beat us.
Tony Bowles had a great day running the football, and in the second half with a 14-3 lead, I think it was obvious you wanted to run the ball against this club, but I thought you might go to the air a little bit more, which you didn't do.
Probably should have. We called 4 passes in the second half, and maybe it was because we had made up our minds going into this game that we wanted to improve our blocking, Jim. No matter what happens, we had to improve our blocking.
Kind of getting ready for the Big Ten.
Well, I think so. You know, that was important to us. And we can throw the football. I really believe that. But we've got to improve our blocking. And the only disappointing thing was, we got nearly 300 yards rushing, but the disappointing thing was, third down, short, goal line situations, we weren't good.
Talk about Mike Gillette being your best punter. He really sets up your next score with a great coffin corner.
He hit 2 of them right in the corner down here in the third period that I thought were important plays. And he's a fine punter, and he's a fine place kicker. We just got to get him straightened out. Here we got a safety. When they tried the option play, pitched it erratically, and we knocked him out of bounds. Here's that same unbalanced line situation. Now that was tough for them to adjust to that with their defense. And here it is again. This must be the umpteenth time we've run it, and it's been effective almost every time. They finally stopped it, I think, about the 6th or 7th time.
Well, they were really geared up defensively to stop the run, too.
Right. They did a good job, and they're a good defensive team, Jim. Like, they were second in their conference last year in defense. They have all those people back, and they play good, solid defense. But, you know, to go down to the goal line like this and have to kick a field goal from the 2, it kind of hurts. And so we go up 19-3. Fortunately, we kicked that field goal, really, because they're going to score right before the end and go for 2, although they didn't get it. If we hadn't had that field goal, it would have been a ticklish situation.
And the trend seems to be quick drops, people throwing the ball early. You can't get pressure on them.
Well, it's difficult. Here, Mark Spencer gets an interception for us as a linebacker. That's the 3rd of the afternoon. We are getting our hands on the ball and, you know, getting some interceptions. I'd like to see us get a little more pressure on the passer. But, you know, most people are taking 5-step drops, delivering the ball quickly, and it's tough to rush them. But, you know, they ran on us a little bit, not a lot, but some. And we've got to tighten up our defense as well as do a better job on offense.
Just enough to make you mad a little bit, huh?
Right. You know, when they scramble out like this, you know, you hate to see that. But that's the way it goes.
And this becomes an important drive for them because this gets them right back in the game.
Gets them right down in the game, and they're down and ready to score. There's not much time left in the game, and we're up by 16. But here he goes over for the touchdown, make it 19-9.
They go for 2, don't get it.
Right.
Then they try the onside kick, and this time you get it done right.
Yeah, we moved our top rebounder, Greg McMurtry, to that spot after last week, and Greg went up and rebounded it. And so there was an improvement right there, Jim. We can handle that onside kick better.
So you get the win 19-9 over Wake Forest. And one of the things I was going to talk to you just before we went to the second half highlights, you wanted to see that offensive line block. And you made an experiment there. You moved Mike Hussar in from quick tackle to guard and put Tom Doring at the quick tackle. Now, how's that going to work?
Well, I think it worked fine. You know, I don't want to say that we're settled in and that's the way it's going to be because we may change. But we did that. We also went to an unbalanced line where we played 2 tackles side by side, moving Doring to the tight end on that side and bring the tight end over to the tackle position on the short side. And that's where Tony Bowles was making hay. They could not afford to overship because we kept an end on the backside. And so I would say Bowles probably got somewhere around 75 yards off that formation. So it was important for us.
If there's one big concern at this point heading into the Big Ten season, I think it's got to be, at least the way you've talked to me, your defense a little bit. There's still...
Always defense.
Yeah?
Always defense. Because your defense is going to be the key to your success. If you play good defense, you got a great chance of winning the championship. I'm really and truly not concerned about our offense. As sporadic as it was in this game, the defense is the key.
And the defense is going to have to play well to win the Big Ten championship. You've said that all along since you've been coach at Michigan. Don't go away, because coming up, we've got a preview look at the Big Ten Conference. That's next when Michigan Replay continues.
We came out kind of flat, which was kind of disappointing to Bo and some of the other guys. And we needed to win bad, and we were inside the 10 3 times, and we didn't put the ball in the end zone. We have some work to do yet still on offense. I'm really glad that we won. You know, don't get me wrong, but going into the Big Ten now, it's a whole new season for us, and I think we have to look toward the Badgers.
%, of CEOs surveyed believe their companies are too short-term oriented. You need a computer company that really knows your business to plan for the long term. Call Unisys. Better information, better decisions.
The General Grabber Off-Road Performance Series goes all the way.
Okay, listen up. Oakley Hill's filling in for Ball tonight.
For 3 years, Bill Oakley took orders. But tonight, he's got to stand up and take charge.
Make America work.
Here's to you, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood-aged Budweiser. For all the guys who know it's not what you say, but what you do.
Ponchatoula, Louisiana. Bayou country. Places like this make you glad you take your car to Mr. Goodwrench, the GM service specialist. Mr. Goodwrench uses genuine General Motors parts, the kind your car was designed to use. Because Mr. Goodwrench knows in places like this, the last thing you need to worry about is your car. Mr. Goodwrench, no one knows your GM car better. No one.
More than 50% of all business PCs don't communicate. If your computers could talk, you'd get information that makes a competitive difference. Call Unisys. Better information, better decisions.
It has not been a banner year for Big Ten football in regards to its non-conference record, but despite that, the league does have some outstanding talent that the Wolverines must face as they move into the conference season. Maybe the most dangerous offensive players in the league are both named Thompson. They're both running backs, and Darrell of Minnesota is considered by some the best in the country. Anthony of Indiana is also a burner. He may not have Darrell's size, but he's still a threat from anywhere on the field. At Michigan State, Blake Ezor is picking up where the graduated Lorenzo White left off, and the MSU running game is still potent. At quarterback, the Wolverines must face the best running passing threat in the league in Michigan State's Bobby McAllister, who led the Spartans last year to a Rose Bowl win. Chuck Hartley of Iowa is a solid performer that makes the Hawkeye offense dangerous, and Dave Schnell of Indiana proved last year that he's a big-time quarterback. He has the Hoosiers heading into the conference season as one of the favorites. The receiving corps is blessed with some big play guys, and the best of them all may be Michigan State's Andre Rison, who can explode in your secondary at any time. Purdue's Calvin Williams may not be as explosive as Rison, but he's just as dangerous. Newcomers Richard Buchanan of Northwestern and Steve Williams of Illinois have had great non-conference introductions, and they will be impact players during the league schedule. At tight end, Iowa's Marv Cook and Indiana's Steve Jordan are outstanding, and while they're both great blockers, they can't be forgotten as solid receivers. In the offensive line, the best is Spartan Tony Mandarich. He returns to action for the Big Ten season. He's a bona fide Outland Trophy candidate and will make Michigan State better as soon as he's back. On defense, the strength of the league may be at linebacker. Michigan State's Percy Snow is a sideline-to-sideline player in the heart of the Spartan defense. John Leverins at Minnesota and Willie Bates of Indiana are also very active players who made major strides last year and have gotten better this season. David Wings is Wisconsin's best defender, and he'll cause some headaches around the league, as will Ohio State's Michael McCray, who is a sack specialist for the Buckeyes. Speaking of sack specialists, Travis Davis of Michigan State and Dave Haight of Iowa are a pair that will make life miserable for a lot of quarterbacks around the league this season. Ohio State's Mike Sullivan is maybe the most active nose guard in the league, and newcomer Mo Gardner of Illinois has established himself as a force in the Illini defense already. In the secondary, John Miller returns as the leader of Michigan State's defending champions. He's as heady and as solid as they come. Glenn Cobb of Illinois is a heavy hitter in the defensive backfield and will lead the Illini again, while at Purdue, Mark Foster is an interception specialist who may be the best cover man in the league. And this season, Michigan must face them all except Purdue. While the players in the league are certainly impressive, the conference record in non-league games has been dismal. And this lack of success is a concern to all those who are Big Ten fans. When you talk about the league standings in the non-conference, here it is, and it has been dismal. Indiana 2-0-1, Ohio State 2-1 with a big victory over LSU. Minnesota, at the time we taped the show, was 1-1 and having some trouble with Northern Illinois. Iowa 2-2, Michigan, of course, 1-2, and then I think we go to the surprises in the league as Illinois and Purdue 1-2, Michigan State 0-3, Wisconsin 0-3, Northwestern 0-3, and the combined Big Ten non-conference record at this point, 10, 19, and 1. And, Bo, that's got to, as I said, be a concern to all of those in the Big Ten.
Yes, it is, to say the least. We have not played well here in the early season. I think that the teams will improve greatly. As you indicated, Jim, there were some outstanding football players in this league, and there'll be some outstanding teams. But it's true. We have not played well in the early season. Not any one of the teams has played well. And that means that maybe we aren't quite as good. We ought to face that. But let's wait and see. You know, it's too early to really make a judgment because, as you can see across the country, There are no superpowers out there.
And
Anybody can win.
And you've been saying that the last 5, 6 years.
Well, ever since we had parity in Grant Nates, other teams have been able to come up. It's happened in our league. It's happened in other leagues. It's happened everywhere. And so I don't take a lot of stock in that. Let's just play these games, forget these records, and look at the team for what their potential is and see what you can do.
Real quickly, with Ohio State having 2 wins over Syracuse, LSU, Indiana's 2 wins over Kentucky and Rice, would you say that at this point Ohio State may be the favorite preseason going into the Big Ten?
No.
Anybody?
No. That's the whole point, Jim, and I want you to listen to me.
Okay.
There is no favorite out there. It's whoever puts their mind together and starts to improve and does the best job of getting better from week to week and winning. And we'll have to wait and see who that's going to be.
We only have to wait a week because the Wolverines have to battle Wisconsin in the Big Ten opener. Don't go away. We'll have a scouting report. Look at the Badgers. That's next when Michigan Replay continues.
We want to win the Big Ten championship, and it's got to be an all-out effort by every man, whether you're a starter or non-starter. And it's going to take us to go out and play hard on defense and offense to come away with a win next week.